Welcome back to another Catharsis Healing Talk. And today is all about unconditional love and unconditional acceptance. Still working on the acceptance part. My name is Helmut, and I am here with our beautiful friends Laura Keddy and Laura Philpott. Hi, guys. And of course, Kay Cadell Whitaker, the author of The Reluctant Shaman, Sacred Link, and the Weavings book. Had to look for it. Here's the Weavings book. And this is the book where these teachings that we're going to talk about come. Well, they don't come out of that book, but Kay wrote about them at length in that book. You can find that book below. There's a link to Amazon where you can find out more. And I believe there's also a link to our website about the book. And so we continue this series about the ancient teachings that have been lost to the masses and are now being brought back. And the full text of the next item that we're going to talk about is right here: to live in and by sacred unconditional love and sacred unconditional acceptance, to feel the beautiful immensity of it as it flows from and permeates all things in the universe, because it was the firstborn and sacred. Wow. And if our talks inspire you, please subscribe, comment, share, all this good stuff. And if you have questions, you can put those in the comments as well. All right. Kay, take it away.
Unconditional love and unconditional acceptance. They go together, kind of hand in hand, part of each other. And where does it all start? Everything started with unconditional love. That's what the ancients say. And the way the pre-flood Egyptians talk about it, they talk about a deity called Oset Kempt. Oset, the Greeks called Oset Isis, and Oset has to do with being the mate of Osiris, being of the family of Osiris. And these stem from the dog star Sirius. Oset Kempt is also considered the dog star Sirius. This is where everything began, and way before the sky looked like the sky today, and way before there was anything, there was Oset Kempt, the black void, the black. It's hard to find an English word that's exact. The pre-flood Egyptians called their these entities the netters. They didn't use the concepts of deities or gods or goddesses. And in recent times, those words have just picked up so much baggage, other kinds of meanings dripping off of them and tinting them in this direction and that. And so I'd like to stick with the original word netter. And netter means a force of nature, the aliveness of nature, the intelligence of nature. And in the very, very beginning, there was just the black void, but it wasn't nothing, and it was alive, and it held this incomprehensible amount of energy and love and beauty and aliveness, consciousness. She was everything. And they always credit this particular netter with a female essence because she gives birth. She's the mother, the birther of everything. But a true netter is pure aliveness and consciousness, and is not either male or female. It has the potential of male and female within it. It is all of those things all together, all at once. And so when she began to birth a universe, that leaned her into the position of being observed as female, expressing herself as female. So she just wanted to create, and she wanted to experience more than what she had. And she wanted love. She wanted to caretake. So she began creating the universe, and the very firstborn was Mut. And the Egyptians, both pre-flood and post-flood, described Mut, to talk about her, image her, and stuff like that. They described her as a vulture, picking an animal of their environment. They got big vultures down there. Very big, very beautiful, very striking vultures, very strong. And there's another whole story about vultures and why they were revered so tremendously in all those times. So Mut, the vulture, is absolute unconditional love. Pure, 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 unconditional love. And it just poured out, it flooded out in all directions and all dimensions, all realms, every possibility. This love flooded out of her, was birthed out of her. And it wasn't just birthed out of a birth canal. It was birthed out of her heart and her mouth and her everything, her beingness, her hands and her feet. She radiated out this love. And Mut, the love, it was alive and conscious and very, very, very wise. What Osset Kemp birthed out and continued to birth out and continues to this day to keep birthing out more love, more love, more love, more love. It seems that Mut has the ability, that unconditional love has the ability to multiply itself. to just become more of. And as she loved the love and around her and admired it, uh, that birthed more love and more love and more love. And the next born from Osset Kempt, the blackness, was Neith. Neith is the weaver, the one who has a loom, who weaves. And she was so mesmerized by this love. She's, she just was so excited by it and just had to create. She took the love, turned it into threads that could be woven on her loom, and she weaved it into the universes that we know. Our material world and the non-material worlds and all of the different realms and dimensions and everything that we can see and not see has come from her loom. She's the weaver. Native American people would say she is the Spider Woman. Spider Woman is the weaver in those cultures. Same creature, very similar kinds of stories, very similar kinds of beginnings. So everything in our world, including us, including every one of you, your physicalness, your physical bodies, and all the rocks and sand and air and it, everything is made from love. This is where it starts, this unconditional love. And that's who we are, that's what we are. Everything that she created was alive. The love was alive. Osset Kempt was alive. Neith is alive. Everything she creates on her loom is alive, conscious, breathing, being, just emitting the love that they are and the diversity that they are. One of the things that Osset Kempt really wanted was some diversity. I can't imagine there not being anything but yourself. That you might get hungry after a while for something like diversity. Maybe she had seen it before. Who knows? So one of the things that she put into that love and has put into the weavings as Neith weaved is this incredible diversity. And so the love is in everything. It flows through everything, between everything, back and forth. It's shared. And we're all from the loom. We're all part of the threads coming from that loom, that the tapestry. And we're woven together. What the ancients say about that, we have connectedness. We have an intimate connectedness to everything that exists in every world, every plane, material or not material. We're deeply connected. And this love that is everywhere and that is made into the weavings of things, it permeates everything. It feels everything. It moves like ocean waves and rivers. And it's utterly dynamic. All the energy of the universe is in that love. all the knowledge of the universe, all the history of the universe as we've known it since it was created is in that love. It goes in the weaving, it goes in us. We're all woven together. And the diversity and the beauty and the power of all these things, the power of that love, the power of the attention that goes into making the love and the weavings, the world. It's inconceivable how much power that is. And we all have it. It's inside us, it's outside of us. It is the field inside, it's the field outside. It's what people have called the great field, or the field of consciousness, the field of aliveness, the field of awakeness, the cosmic field, the quantum field. Many names, many, 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 many. But it's all the same thing. It's all one thing. And we are connected to it. We are part of it. It fills the spaces between the subatomic particles and atomic particles and molecules in us, in our own physical body, and everything else that's physical out here, and the air, all these blank spaces. As filled with the love, is filled with that energy, huge amounts of energy, huge amounts of information. It is part of us, inside us. It's part of everything that is outside of us. The great field. And along with this unconditional love, the other side of that is unconditional acceptance. And that means, especially for us nowadays, as we are humans, we have many different kinds of humans and groups of humans, and we need to be able to get along. We need to accept each other. And all of the creations from the web, I mean, all of these different stars and galaxies and planets and animals and plants and the dirts and the rocks and crystals and air and atmospheres and the waters and everything. We all need to get along. We all need to accept each other in a beautiful way, in a way that promotes love, not diminishes it. You can't kill love. You can't overpower it, but you can turn away from it. As a human, and we have free will, we can turn our attention away from this unconditional love. And as an entire human species, a very large percentage of us have turned away from unconditional love and unconditional acceptance for a very long time. And for us, that creates a great deal of imbalance, disharmony, imbalance. We create tears in our own weaving. We stir up a nest of trouble, confusion, sickness, depression. The list goes on. In order to have unconditional love, you absolutely have to have unconditional acceptance. We have to accept each other. We have to accept what's around us. And what seems really different, like, we look like humans and we can move around and do things and think and communicate, and we got fluid inside of us and we can bleed, and it looks really different than rocks and dirt, land masses, or the air, or big body water. And it seems easy, too easy for humans to forget about finding the love in all those different things and the beauty that's in all of those different things. But finding the differences and deciding to be afraid of them, to not like them, to hate them, to go to war against them, to think that they're nothing, we don't have to care about them. We could just trash that. And we've had these concepts with us for a long time. Not forever. We're not created initially to be this way. We were created to have unconditional love and feel it, to have unconditional acceptance and feel it, be it, live with gratitude. Gratitude and love and affection and kindness and sharing back and forth, giving and receiving back and forth. But somewhere along the line, some of us started thinking in a different way. And we forgot about unconditional acceptance and unconditional love. And we made love very conditional. And in conditional love, that means that I'm only going to give any kind of attention or affection or nice to you if you behave like this, and this. And you have to do everything the way I say, or I won't give it to you. I'll take it away. Take all that love away. Very conditional. Conditional acceptance. Same thing. And we see it all over the planet. We see it in the wars. We see it in people fighting with each other. We see it in people hating themselves and their own body and fighting with their own body, doing things that hurt, that incredible consciousness and aliveness that they have. If you have unconditional love and unconditional acceptance, you see the love in things. Nobody has to even point it out to you. You can feel it, you could see it. You could see the love coming to you out of the tree, out of the sky, out of the air, out of the water, out of the animals. You can see and feel loving energy floating between you and all the other humans. And with no effort, no special effort. It's something that you just perceive and feel and know how to do. And you behave accordingly with kindness and open communication. But when we have unconditional love, we lose all that. We lose all those abilities to be able to perceive that love, that acceptance, that kindness, that beauty in other people, other places, the animals, the plants, the dirt, the rocks, the air, the water, the whole planet, the sun, the stars and the heavens. And we need to find our way back because we've become blind. We've become blind and deaf to all these things. And it's not hard. It doesn't take long. It just takes questioning. Question the way things are, the powers that be, and the things they say, especially the things they say and they write. Question it. Question it. And pick things that have unconditional love. Put things in your life that have unconditional love and unconditional acceptance. Find other people that do. Teach them what you know about it. They'll teach you what they know. And there's the giving and the receiving and the sharing. So, my friends, what do you all have to say about unconditional love and unconditional acceptance?
Go ahead, Laura.
Well, I have a couple stories I'd like to share, and I think I briefly shared them before. I know I've shared them with my Katasi peers, but my first experiences with really understanding that everything was made out of unconditional love. I had already read Kay's first two books, The Reluctant Shaman and Sacred Link. But I had been in a motor vehicle accident, and my tibia had been broken, and my fibula had been shattered. My wrist had been broken as well. And I was eventually let out of the hospital and was at home laying in my bed. And the pain meds that they gave me literally highlighted the pain. That's all I could feel. And as I was laying there trying to deal with that, I had somehow turned and saw Kay's books up. I always kept them close to wherever I was because I just loved the teachings. And like, well, this is a perfect time to try to do some of that, right? I'm totally flooded with this perception and my awareness of this pain. And so I would look out the window, and it was just, I would just try and connect with the sky or connect with the grass, and it was just originally just feeling the sun, trying to feel the sun out there. But more and more I did that. All of a sudden I started to see that connection. It was the energy. It's like there is no gap between me and that. It's all there. And at one point, I would feel like, oh well, maybe it's underneath of it, but underneath the pain, that connection is. But it wasn't that. No, it's permeating everything. At least that's how I perceived it, and it was amazing how once I realized that I had that connection, it totally changed my experience of the pain. And then it wasn't very long after that I was totally overwhelmed with this unconditional love. And so now I have this feeling, this knowing, this experience of unconditional love, and I can tap that anytime now. If I get myself quiet, it's there. That connection, that connect, like you were talking about, of the aliveness is all around us. It's there always. We've somehow dimmed it by our beliefs and our assumptions and our expectations, and like you had said, that acceptance. And now I want to share another story. It's like 3 years ago, I had witnessed a head-on collision, and I had gotten out, and there was 3 kids, so young kids in the car, and the one that was driving was a teenager that was about my son's age. And I went to check his pulse, and I knew, I mean, I didn't feel his signature in his body, so I knew he had transitioned, but still there was a part of me that like, no, 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 no. As I was reaching to check his pulse, I heard this, "You do not know what a thing is or is for." It's like, and I heard it, but not really heard it, but I heard it. Um, but it was interesting how for the next 3 weeks, even with all the teachings, the Katasi teachings, because at this point I was steeped in the teachings, not just the books, but steeped in the teachings. It was interesting how I still was not accepting. I still had judgments, expectations, assumptions of like, oh no, it shouldn't have gone this way. And I had all these images that kept going over and over and over in my mind. And then one night, 2 a.m., I sat up, like, I'm already awake. I'm already seeing all these things. And I walked through it with that feeling of unconditional love, letting go of all those judgments and expectations and looking at each thing that came up. And it healed it. It just totally healed it. So my reason for sharing this is like, you may not feel that unconditional love right now, but I think the desire and the knowingness that it's there, and I mean, the teachings certainly get you to that point where you can actually experience unconditional love, because there's waves of it. I mean, it permeates everything. And I just really hope that people take an opportunity to teach and learn these ancient things. It changes your life. It changes your experience. Um, and with it comes gratitude and appreciation and so much love. It's like you have so much more harmony and beauty and love in your life. But until you realize that everything's made of the unconditional love and that you can connect it, you feel separate, and everything's dimmed. Your awareness is dimmed. Anyway, that's my 2 stories because they were so profound, and that was the start of, wow, everything's made out of unconditional love. Yeah. Laura?
Yeah, thanks, Laura. My goodness, those are beautiful stories. My stories. I, it kind of took me by surprise, that all of this magic and all of this power, for lack of that allows us to do these amazing things as humans, is powered by unconditional love. And that was, that just sounds so mythological or fanciful until you feel it. And I remember the first time I felt the tree sending me, we do song to song, and the tree sending me this beautiful feeling. Had no idea that was unconditional love. That was, I just remember weeping because it was this beautiful energy was coming towards me, engulfing me, surrounding me. And, you know, at that point, I don't know how to send that quality back, that immenseness back then. Because I didn't know what it was. And I think I was probably, everybody asked me when it happened, because again, I still find my mass beating myself up, but for the most part, I'm madly in love with myself. And that happened through studying Katasi. You know, I was probably 3 years in. It didn't happen right away, maybe longer. All of a sudden I remember one day that falling in love with myself. It was like, you know, and I think it was around the same time I could feel the being wrapped in the beauty and understanding this is unconditional love, and then feeling it throughout my being, you know, feeling my song, and that it was radiating love for myself, and that I did. I mean, it was just this absolute, I love myself. It was this absolute feeling of, I love myself more than I love anybody else. And that was like, I did have those moments of like, how do I explain this to other people? Because then I suddenly realized my husband, who I thought I loved unconditionally, I hadn't been, you know, because I didn't know. I didn't know it. I did not know what real unconditional love was. And you can't think your way through. You have to feel it. It's this beautiful feeling, and I definitely was not giving that to him. And so I realized, until you can like feel this unconditional love for yourself, you're giving, you know, shadow of love, you know, just a shadow of what is the potential to anybody else. Your children, you think you do, you don't. You know, it's just like, it's not there. It has its own signature and its own feeling. And it was like you're speaking a language you don't even know, you know, up until that point. Until you feel it yourself, you don't know how to speak it. You know, it's like, until it rattles your body and that's you giving it to you, it's like, I didn't know how to speak this language. I was doing my best, you know, and I remember explaining to my husband, I'm going to love myself more than I love you, you know, and he looked at me cross-eyed, waiting for the punchline of this. And, you know, luckily I've got one of those more patient ones. And I said, but because I love myself more, at this moment right now, I love you more than I've ever loved you too. And, you know, and Kay, when you said it, it's like this, it's exponentially grows. There's this blind belief, like we're given a pie of love and we slice it up and we share it out, you know, and for somebody else, like if you have one more child, you've got to divide the child piece of pie between the two. You know, this idea that it can just keep flowing and keep going, you know, and that it just, you know, I tell my granddaughters that it was just like, you know, it was like, my love for you is never ending. You know, it just flows and goes, you know, it's just like it, you know, and I said, you know, when another one comes along, it's like, I make more. That's my way of saying, I can make more love. It happens. I can make more love. It just, and I can feel it as I'm talking. It was like the currents start flowing and going and connecting even more. And it's delicious. But the cool part is it's powerful. You know, it's like, it's power. And that was like the, you know, if the other things weren't mind blowing enough, it was like, now we're going to weave you a new heart. We're going to journey into the body, replace your heart, and weave you a new one. And these cords we're building from is unconditional love. But you need to be in unconditional love to even touch them. And as soon as you do, you can start weaving and making anything you can imagine. And that's, you know, it's like, that's something out of a storybook, but it's real. It's so real. it's beautiful. I mean, it's just like, to be truly powerful, you can't be an asshole. I'm sorry for the language, but it's, you know, you, to be this immense, powerful self is like, you really have to find that unconditional love and radiate it and be it and step into it. It's like the universe has created this way of protecting itself, to give those who are in unconditional love and unconditional acceptance the most immense power that is possible in these human bodies. Those are my thoughts. Thanks, Kay. I'm on this power team.
Beautiful.
I told my 5-year-old self, or my 5-year-old self said she wanted to grow up to be a superhero. And this is the, I think she was onto something. Thanks, Kay.
So welcome. Helmut, do you have a thought or two?
Many. Um, the more you study the ancient teachings, inevitably you move closer to understanding and living unconditional love and unconditional acceptance. Now, you still live in the muggle world, which is getting more insane by the minute, it seems sometimes. So you need to kind of balance that, or balance is not the right word. It just takes more commitment to stay on the teaching path and towards unconditional love and unconditional acceptance. But if you manage to do that, your life changes in ways you cannot possibly imagine. And that is, I believe, the foundational requirement for the new world. That way of knowing and that way of living and walking in the world and being in the world. That's what becomes the foundation for the new world we're moving into. As we often talk about, and especially Kay, is that this world is falling apart. And we see it, or I see it everywhere I look. So, and the best thing we can do is to wake up and start building a new world. And unconditional love and unconditional acceptance are the foundations of that. They are the foundations for your life in this or in the new world, and then they become the foundation of the new world. And I wouldn't want to be anywhere else or any other way. And sharing this with these people here and with our greater community is just, it's like a dream come true. So I love you people. Thank you. You were muted, honey.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Any other thoughts?
I want to share one quote from your Reluctant Shaman book. You had written
All right.
that Damano had said that we are like spiders weaving our world. And that's truly what we do, especially when we're living from our heart and unconditional love. We can weave some amazing things in our world. So much beauty we get to share and feel. And all that joy and harmony and coherence of it. we have that power. Yeah, I just want to share that. We have that power. We're like spiders. We're weavers.
We are weavers. And we're weaving 24 hours a day, every day. it's it's part of who and what we are. We're a unique individual piece of creator. And if creator is a weaver that is weaving, creating the world, we're a piece of that. That means we're creators too. We are weavers. And whether we know it or not, whether we're still living in a really asleep kind of a place, we're we're creating from our thoughts and our emotions and our beliefs. And we're doing that unconsciously, unknowingly, when we're still asleep. We haven't been taught anything about this stuff in our culture. We're taught to look away from this kind of stuff in our culture. Oh no, look the other direction. Don't look behind that curtain. But this is a good curtain to, pull aside and look behind, because it's one of those that has the real stuff, the real goods, the things that can bring your health back and your happiness back, and peace and love and beauty and coherence and all the things, Laura, that you are starting to list off. They just fall in place. Once you get love in place, all those things fall in place. And they are part of who you are, what you are. And the difference is that you can feel it, you realize it, you know it, and you're more conscious of it when you've decided to pay attention, to question what that world out there has been telling you to do, and how to live your life, and how to think, and how to feel, and you should be this and you should do that. Can't do that. When you step out of that, you start to wake up. You start to see the beauty that was hiding before, because we hide it from ourselves. We blind it out. We hide it from ourselves. This incredible depth of beauty everywhere and love everywhere, and the connectedness. Nothing is isolated. Nothing is a single island, separate. We are deeply connected. And in that connection, we're communicating back and forth with each other, sharing back and forth, giving, receiving. Just constantly, the whole field is full of, you could say, these transmissions. We are transmitting and we are receiving. We're both an antenna and a receiver. And we have antennas all the way through our bodies. Every piece of DNA is an antenna. And there are many, many cells that also serve as antennas, and all kinds of other places in your body, and connective tissue, and the fluids, the water. Water is an antenna. So we're just built to receive. That's that's it. We are built to receive and to send out again, to share back out. The whole world out there knows our whole life, our intimate interior life that we think is so secret and private. It's shared with every human, the human race, everything on the planet, and the whole field, all the planets and stars and galaxies and everything. That information is available to all of it, everywhere, everybody. And all of their information is available to us at any time. because of this connectedness, this unconditional love, this weaving that connects us and flows with this beautiful energy and information.
Wow.
Have you felt that? Have you, ladies and gentlemen? Have you felt these things? Do you experience them since you have started studying this way and living this way and questioning that old world out there?
I have those tsunamis that you talk about. There's been more and more of that where I'm just driving along or sitting somewhere, minding my own business, and I get hit by one. All of a sudden, I just like, I it was like, it's just this delicious feeling comes over me. You know, uh, not all the time, but sometimes again, my husband's there, and I'm like, there it is. Can you feel it? It just this wave, and yeah, I wish other people could. I didn't, definitely didn't start out that way, and I don't know if it's because like attracts like that I'm noticing more, and I'm in that energy at the moment, but it's just been happening more and more often. And it's so random, but it's delicious, and that was worth the price of admission, any one of those of doing. But it's like what I've learned, I in the years I've studied is that I want more. It's just like you get a little taste of this and it's addictive. It's like now, especially once it can become more and more. And this is just if you like this, come back tomorrow and the taste is bigger and stronger in keeping at it. I've learned that over the years of studying these, and I want the more. I want all of it. I want to experience it to the fullest. And so yeah, I've experienced it now, but I'm pretty sure I haven't experienced the fullness of what I could possibly yet. And so that part I'm excited. What about you, Laura?
I have definitely felt it as well. I mean, I remember the first time that I felt it. It filled me so full, and it was so unconditional. It literally, I started to cry. It started to choke up because I'd never felt that kind of love before. Uh, And I get it now, actually nightly. I don't know if it's because maybe the resistance is not there. When I first wake up, I get a wave of unconditional love that just fills me. And I'm just so grateful that I get the opportunity to feel that. And I do get waves of, I'd call it unconditional love, but within it is aliveness and excitement and passion. I get these waves that just kind of come over me. It's like and gratitude. And I'm so happy that I get to be here right now on this planet to help share this, to help teach it, to help experience it for other people, because we're sacred. We all deserve to be able to feel this and know it and live by it. Truly. It's if that's what it's all made out of. Why aren't we feeling it all the time? I think of how long it took me to finally get to the point where like, oh my gosh, we're all connected. Oh, and there's so much love available. It's like, our society just kind of squishes that down, but until you really start to feel your song and start to perceive yourself. I know I say this all the time. Perceive yourself differently instead of that small. That's the key right there. You start to perceive yourself differently and not that small thing. That you're infinite and eternal and unique, and just that's where you start to connect with that wholeness of that unconditional love that makes it all up, that's connecting everything. That spider web. Anyway, yeah, it's just beautiful stuff. I just want everybody to do this and feel and experience it. We all deserve it because we're all sacred.
I love this, Laura, when you said we deserve this, I could feel that. I could feel that. It was like, that's it. We deserve this. This is our right.
Yeah.
We are sacred. We deserve this.
We do.
Yeah. Beauty is the child of love, and love is the child of beauty. I think more and more people are going to remember that more and more. That's from Kay, by the way. Thank you all. I think closing out here. Any thoughts, Kay?
One of my most favorite subjects to try to talk about or write about or teach about. As I've been studying this for such a long time now, I'm trying to remember back when I first realized that I had been feeling this unconditional love and this love of myself all along as a kid, growing up, and as a tiny child. But I attributed it to something else. Couldn't possibly be me, or I must be loving something else. Must be a boyfriend or something like that, or some object or some art project. I had a lot of art in my life back then. But as I have learned through the years and look back through my memories, I can remember walking through this meadow, this big field on campus, University of California, Santa Cruz, headed back to the classes and feeling this feeling, and it was coming from me, and it was coming from the field, the land and the grass and the air and the redwood trees nearby. And if you looked off in the other direction, you could see the Monterey Bay. You could see the coast and the bay, and it was all emitting all this love, and I could feel it. And I remember trying to go back to the same old thoughts, that it must be something I'm feeling for somebody else, or some boyfriend, or something like that. But it wasn't. It was the love that I felt for me, and the love that I felt for the entire world, and for aliveness and consciousness. And I was like Laura said, I love the way you say that, Laura. I was in love with me. and I realized that I really, really loved me, and always had. And I had a feeling of that moment. I was already in the studies, I had a feeling of memories of even being on in another lifetime, on another lifetimes on another planet, on Earth, on but the me that was there doing all of that, I was I was still that me, and I was in love with that me, with that personage, that aliveness, that consciousness. And I got to say, the more you do this, the more you study, the bigger it gets, the deeper it gets, the farther you go with it. Whether you're intending to try to get farther or not, you will. If you practice it, it just gets bigger and more profound, and you understand more. The understanding comes with a perception. And if you perceive more, you're going to be able to understand more, bigger pictures, more of it. And it's glorious. It's beautiful. It's beautiful for the individual. It's beautiful for the family, for the community, for all of humanity. And right now, humanity as a whole really, 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 really needs all this in a big, bad way. The more love we can give unconditionally to everybody, the better.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Laura's. Thank you, Kay. Thank you, everybody, for joining us live. I don't know what else to say. We see you next week.
Yeah, love says it all.
Love you.
Love you. Love you all.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all so much. Thank you, everybody. Mwah.